I hated how this cake came out. It was actually one of my biggest cake disasters, and I'm going to tell you why. So I started as I usually do, stacking up all the cake. I was really excited about the pose that I got for this one, but it all goes downhill pretty quickly. So this is all the shavings. This is the cake all cut off. I cover it all in delicious white chocolate ganache. As you can see, the head isn't very sturdy, but we're going to come back to that in a little bit when I tell you about why I hated this cake so much. So then I used some dark chocolate ganache to cover up all the body so that it was nice and firm. Next up, I did as I usually do. I made some poured isomalt eyes. Isomalt is like a sugar substitute that solidifies really good and hard, so you can use that for things like eyes. So I put them onto the head and then I started sculpting away. So the head was made out of cake, okay? It's not made out of polystyrene, it's made out of cake. Yes, so I'm going to show you. I had my reference images in the background. I was so happy with how this head was looking. I was like, I always struggle when it comes to heads and people's faces, but I'd spent so much time, right? Bearing in mind, this is the week before Christmas and I really don't have much time to work on this cake. So I was staying up till like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, just to make sure that I got every detail on this cake right, because Wednesday is the girl of the moment and Jenna Ortega is beautiful and I wanted to make it look creepy, but also beautiful. So I'd done all my sculpting. I was really happy with it. And then I took some gel food colors and painted in all of her details. So it made her look super like Wednesday. I added in a little bit of extra shading because my room that I work in is really light. So you weren't going to get all that dark Tim Burton shadowing in mine if I hadn't have painted. And it's looking really good. I'm really pleased with it. Oh, I think you can all guess what's about to happen. Anyway, I continued painting, and actually, I've told you all before, painting is my least favourite bit of this process. I always feel like I'm going to ruin it. But anyway, look at that face. Oh, I put on each individual eyelash. And what I didn't show you was that I dropped her head. Yep, dropped it on the floor as I was going to put it onto the cake. So obviously, I couldn't put that on the cake because I've dropped it on the floor. So I had 2 hours to make a new face, and unfortunately it was nowhere near as good as the original, which was really upsetting. See, it's fine. It still looks like a person, but it doesn't look like Jenna Ortega and it doesn't look like Wednesday. So I'm going to spin it and just say that this is my interpretation of Wednesday, even though we all know it's just because I dropped it on the floor. Anyway, I added in all of these little tiny details, and this is how the cake came out. I was so disappointed in the finished result, but hey, it did still resemble her, and it was like 2 days before Christmas and I hadn't wrapped a single present, so I had to know when to give up.